It was a Tuesday morning like any other in the world of daytime television. The set of Live with Kelly and Mark was bright, buzzing with the familiar energy of a well-oiled machine. The audience, a mix of devoted fans and curious tourists, buzzed with the anticipation of seeing their favorite hosts banter and laugh. Kelly Ripa, a dynamo of effervescence and sharp wit, was, as always, the picture of controlled chaos. Mark Consuelos, her husband of nearly 3 decades, provided the steady, grounding presence, his easy smile and dark eyes often crinkling with amusement at his wife's antics. But on this particular day, the carefully constructed rhythm of morning television was about to be shattered by a moment of raw, unscripted humanity. The segment seemed innocuous enough, a reflection on their long-running partnership, both on and off screen. Then Mark began to speak. His words were not the usual playful teasing or the light-hearted anecdotes about family life. They were something else entirely, a profound, heartfelt tribute that cut through the studio lights and the canned laughter, striking directly at the core of the woman sitting beside him. Kelly Ripa, a woman who has built a career on being unflappable, broke down. The tears that welled in her eyes were not for the cameras. They were a breach in the dam, a sudden and powerful overflow of emotion that left her, the audience, and ultimately viewers at home utterly speechless. This was not a tabloid moment of drama. It was a key, unlocking a deeper understanding of a partnership that has captivated the public for over 30 years. To understand the weight of that moment, one must journey back to the beginning, to a soap opera set in 1995 where 2 young actors' lives collided, forever altering their trajectories. Long before they were the first couple of daytime TV, they were Haley Vaughn and Mateo Santos on the popular ABC soap opera All My Children. Kelly, already established name on the show, was the vibrant girl next door. Mark, a new arrival, was the handsome, brooding talent from Spain. The on-screen chemistry was immediate and electric, but it was off-screen where the real story began. In numerous interviews, both have recounted a courtship that sounds like the plot of one of their soap operas, yet grounded in a tangible, magnetic pull. Kelly has often said she knew almost instantly. There was a lightning bolt, a visceral recognition that this person was fundamentally different. For Mark, it was a quiet, unwavering certainty. Their first kiss, famously, was filmed for the show, but was, by their own admission, very real. It was a blurring of lines between fiction and reality that would come to define their lives. Their wedding in 1996 was a testament to their desire for something authentic, away from the prying eyes of the media. They eloped to Las Vegas in a move that was impulsive, romantic, and deeply private. There was no entourage, no magazine deal, just 2 people and their commitment. This act set a precedent. While their lives would increasingly become public property, the sanctum of their relationship would always be fiercely protected. The early years were a process of weaving their lives together. Kelly's star continued to rise with her role on Live, while Mark built a respectable career in television and film. They navigated the challenges of 2 actors in one household, the constant public scrutiny, and the monumental task of raising a family, 3 children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, in the blinding glare of the spotlight. Through it all, they presented a united front, a team. They were, as Kelly often called them, Ripa Consuelos, a corporation built on love, mutual respect, and a shared sense of humor that could weather any storm. For over a decade, Kelly's professional home was Live, first with Regis Philbin, a legendary partnership of generational divide and comedic gold. After Regis' retirement, the show went through a turbulent period with various co-hosts, a public search that often placed Kelly unfairly at the center of media criticism. She held the ship steady, a testament to her professionalism and resilience, but it was a challenging era. When it was announced in 2023 that Mark Consuelos would be taking the permanent co-host chair, the public reaction was a mix of delight and curiosity. It seemed almost too perfect, too storybook. Could their marital chemistry translate to the 5-day-a-week grind of a morning talk show? The answer became clear almost immediately. The show was re-energized. The chemistry wasn't just romantic, it was comedic, effortless, and deeply familiar. Their banter felt less like a performance and more like the public was being given a privileged peek into their breakfast table. Mark's arrival transformed the show's dynamic. He was not just a co-host, he was a co-pilot, a supporter, and at times a hilarious foil who was completely unafraid to lovingly poke fun at his wife or himself. He brought a different energy, calmer, more laid back, yet with a sharp, often self-deprecating wit that perfectly complements Kelly's whirlwind presence. He was her biggest cheerleader, his face often beaming with genuine pride as she delivered a monologue or connected with a guest. This professional merger was the final piece of the puzzle, fully integrating their personal and professional lives in a way few couples ever experience. The set became an extension of their living room, and the audience was invited in. The context of the now viral moment was crucial. It wasn't a milestone anniversary or a season finale. It was a simple, reflective conversation about their journey. The producer had likely envisioned a light-hearted segment about the trials and tribulations of working with your spouse. But Mark, often the quieter of the two, seized the opportunity to speak from a place of profound depth. His words were not prepared on a cue card. They were slow, deliberate, and measured, each one chosen with care. He began by acknowledging the public perception of their relationship, the perfect couple narrative that they both often debunked. He then pivoted, his gaze fixed on Kelly, his voice softening yet gaining a new intensity. People see the laughter, he might have said, and they see the arguments we joke about. They see the partnership on screen. But what they don't see, what I don't say nearly enough, is the sheer awe I feel every single day watching you do what you do. He would go on to detail the specifics, the pre-dawn mornings, the balancing of a monumental career with the demands of motherhood, the unwavering professionalism even on days filled with personal struggle. He would speak not just of her strength, but of her vulnerability, the parts of her she keeps shielded from the world. He would acknowledge the weight she has carried, often alone, and the immense pride he has in not just being her husband, but her partner in this wild public life. You are, he could have continued, his own voice beginning to thicken with emotion, and I know I don't always say it, but I see you. I see the effort, the love, the exhaustion, the joy, and I am just so incredibly proud to be the one sitting next to you. It was this final sentiment, the simple, powerful, I see you, that proved to be Kelly's undoing. In a world where she is constantly seen by millions, the feeling of being truly seen by the person who matters most was overwhelming. The first tear was a slow escape, tracing a path down her cheek before she could stop it. Then another. She tried to laugh it off, to wave a hand and deflect, as she has been trained to do for decades, but the emotion was too potent. She bowed her head, her shoulders shaking slightly, as the studio fell into a stunned, reverent silence. The audience, accustomed to laughter, was now witnessing something far more powerful, authentic, unvarnished love. Mark, seeing her reaction, simply reached out and placed a hand over hers, a silent gesture of solidarity that spoke volumes. He didn't try to stop her tears or lighten the mood. He allowed the moment to breathe, to exist in its pure emotional state. It was a masterclass in support, a testament to a bond so secure it could withstand the vulnerability of public tears. The power of this televised moment lay not in its shock value, but in its rarity. In the curated world of celebrity, where relationships are often brand managed and emotions are often performative, this was a crack in the facade. It was a glimpse into the profound, sometimes difficult, work that underpins a decades-long marriage. 1. The validation of being seen. For any long-term partner, but perhaps especially for a woman who juggles an immense public and private load, the feeling of being truly seen by one's partner is the ultimate form of validation. It's not about praise for success, but acknowledgement of the struggle, the silent sacrifices, the unseen work. Mark's words were a public acknowledgement of Kelly's private battles, a recognition that her strength was not infinite, and that her resilience came at a cost. His tribute was a balm on the invisible wear and tear of a life lived in the spotlight. 2. The rejection of toxic masculinity. In a culture that often prizes stoicism in men, Mark's display of emotional intelligence was revolutionary.
He was strong enough to be vulnerable, secure enough to publicly elevate his wife without a hint of ego. He did not shy away from expressing deep sentimental love. This model of masculinity, one built on support, admiration, and emotional availability, is a powerful counter-narrative, demonstrating that true strength lies in the capacity for deep feeling and open respect. 3. The power of longevity. The moment was weighted with the history of 30 years. These were not the effusive, flowery words of new love, but the earned, deeply felt gratitude of a love that has been tested by time, hardship, and the mundane realities of life. Every laugh line, every shared memory, ever overcome challenge was present in that silence. The audience wasn't just watching a husband praising his wife, they were watching the culmination of a shared life. 4. The universality of the experience. While few live their lives on television, the core of this moment is universally relatable. Who hasn't